Today, we're diving into the mind of a true literary architect, an author who didn't just write stories, but built entire worlds as complex, as detailed, and as captivating as our own. We're talking about the one and only, the brilliant A.S. Byatt. But let's start with a little thought experiment. Imagine this. Two famous poets from, say, the Victorian era. Their work is carved into the stone of literary history. We think we know everything about them. But what if, right now, today, someone found a stack of hidden letters that revealed a secret, all-consuming, passionate love affair between them? How would that change everything? Well, that is exactly the kind of literary puzzle A.S. Byatt just loved to create. You see, she didn't just write novels. She built these incredible narrative worlds where big ideas and intellectual curiosity crash right into raw, messy human emotion. She shows us that the past, it's never really over. In fact, it's always whispering to us. So, how did she do it? How did she build these worlds? Well, at the very heart of almost all her work is this one central driving obsession. What's the real relationship between art and life? You know, how do they feed each other, reflect each other, and sometimes, how do they completely consume one another? Okay, so to really get Byatt, you gotta understand this key idea, intertextuality. Now that sounds academic, but it's actually pretty simple. Think of it like a massive ongoing conversation between books, paintings, poems, and people, all happening across time. She weaves real art and literature into her stories, not just as background decoration, but as vital clues that actually drive the plot forward and tell us who the characters are. And you can see this everywhere in her work. I mean, in the Matisse stories, the characters' lives are just drenched in the same intense, emotional colors you see in a Matisse painting. The biographer's tale goes a step further and questions the whole act of trying to capture someone's life in words. And then there's the children's book, which is this incredible contrast between the beautiful, magical world of fairy tales and the harsh, brutal reality of the world leading up to World War I. Which, of course, brings us to the novel that is the absolute pinnacle of this obsession, the one that won the Booker Prize and really cemented her legacy. We're talking about the masterpiece of literary detective work, Possession, a Romance. The structure of Possession is just genius. It's basically two stories told at the same time. So in the present day, we're following two scholars, Roland and Maud, as they hunt for a historical secret. And then, in the past, we get to see that secret unfold in real time. The forbidden, passionate love affair between two brilliant Victorian poets, Randolph Ashe and Christabel Lamotte. Seriously, this book reads like a thriller. It all kicks off with one tiny clue, a draft of a letter that Roland finds tucked away in an old library book. And that one discovery just lights a fire, sending him and Maud on this frantic chase across England, digging through archives, decoding secret meanings in poems, and literally racing against their academic rivals to piece together this hidden history. But it's so much more than just a whodunit. It's a novel about obsession, the romantic obsession between the poets, sure, but also the intellectual obsession of the scholars hunting for them. It taps into that desire we all have, that need to feel a real, tangible connection to the people and the passions of the past. And this fascination with how the past shapes us, both the big historical past and our own personal past, is also at the center of another huge part of her career, her incredible deep dive into female identity in what's known as the Frederica Quartet. This is just an epic series of 4 books that follows one woman, Frederica Potter, across decades of her life. We meet her as this fiercely intelligent young woman in the super restrictive 1950s, feeling completely trapped by what society expects of her. Then we follow her right through the seismic shifts of the 60s, watching as she tries to figure out how to be a mother, an intellectual, and an artist in a world that keeps changing the rules for women. And this is really one of Byatt's great superpowers, her psychological depth. Her female characters are so smart, so ambitious, and just deeply, deeply complex. They refuse to be put in a box. She explores their inner worlds, their desires, their frustrations, their intellectual hunger, with this incredible, unflinching honesty that is just so validating to read. So let's zoom out. When you put all of these pieces together, what is A.S. Byatt's real, lasting legacy? I mean, why do her novels, which are often dense and full of ideas, continue to grab readers so powerfully? I think it all comes down to this unique fusion of brain and heart. Byatt proves that a novel can be a nail-biting detective story and a profound meditation on history. It can be a sweeping romance and a sharp philosophical debate. She had this immense respect for her readers' intelligence, but she never, ever forgot that her first job was to tell a damn good story. Ultimately, Byatt's work is this powerful reminder that the past isn't some dusty thing in a museum. It's a living, breathing force that is actively shaping our lives right now. So that leaves me with a question for you. If you were to become a literary detective of your own life, what hidden stories, what secret letters from your past would you find that explain who you are today?